Hey everyone, and how are you doing? A little late on this news, but Sean Gordon Murphy has not been having the best week, and it all starts right here. Tess Fowler decided to tweet out a bunch of negative tweets about Sean Gordon Murphy and his new Murphyverse. In her own words, today in comics apparently, known Batman writer who supports bigots in a hate movement as well as supports that hate movement's apologists has a new imprint at DC and is hiring bigots. And of course, with any hot take, it receives a little bit of backlash, so she had to follow up. I am so bored with nerds who angry panic anytime someone critiques something nerd-related. Real life exists. The comic, game, Twitch, show, RPG, etc. you love, it's not real. And if the people making the thing you love are out there hurting others, your thing doesn't take priority. Love what you love, nerds, by all means, but I'm bone tired of having to listen to a religious diatribe every time somebody even mildly critiques anything. Alright, obviously these tweets are hilarious. The very idea that this was a critique and not a straight up accusation. We know the difference between critiques and accusations, right? She literally says that Sean Gordon Murphy supports bigots in a hate movement and supports that hate movement's apologists, and he's hiring bigots. Trying to label this as a critique? There's a difference between me saying this guy's art style is shit, he needs to practice more, versus me saying this guy's a rapist. They're not the same thing. Critiques. Get the fuck out of here. You know exactly what you're doing. But of course, it wasn't too long after that Sean Gordon Murphy announced on Twitter that the cover he was doing for Bigfoot Bill was being pulled. And I'm sure you all remember that he was a promoter for this comic. But hey, as soon as Tess Fowler starts making them tweets, you gotta do a 180 turn. So he says, I recently did a cover for a creator, but it's been brought to my attention that the creator has posted opinions that are anti-LGBTQ. I've spoken with that creator, and the cover will now be pulled from the project. Now, this is a 3-part tweet here, but I mean, if you just look at the tweet, you can't find the other parts because it's so buried by all the people responding negatively in the comments. Now, of course, the creator in question, he just says creator, but he has a name. His name is Doug TenNapel, creator of Earthworm Jim. I guess the idea is he's not tagging Doug TenNapel in this tweet because he doesn't want anyone to go after him, or he's trying to not draw that much attention to Doug TenNapel. Doesn't matter, of course, because everyone knows what he's talking about. Now, I feel like it's pretty well known that Doug TenNapel is Christian, so naturally, he would be against gay marriage, which could probably fall under the category of being anti-LGBTQ. But this wasn't a secret kept from anyone that he was Christian. Now, whether or not Sean Gordon Murphy wants to do a variant cover for a Christian's comic book is entirely up to him. But that's something you should have probably figured out before agreeing to it and announcing that you were going to be doing a variant cover for him. I understand that there are some business decisions you have to make in order to keep some crazy people off your back and tweeting about you, but that's all something you have to take into consideration when you're doing business with anybody. And for the most part, it doesn't even really matter what the writer's views are in real life, as long as, like, their comic isn't reflecting that. I mean, like, for me personally, if I was working with someone on a project, let's say they're making a comic about something that I don't actually believe in myself, like I believe in the opposite of that. So I decide to not do the comic with him because I don't want my name on something that's pushing those beliefs. But if he's making an apolitical comic, or a comic that has absolutely nothing to do with any belief, it's just good old-fashioned fun, yeah, I'll work with him. It doesn't matter what his beliefs are, as long as, you know, the comic is not reflecting that and my name isn't being put on that. That's how I personally see things. I seriously doubt that Bigfoot Bill is pushing any anti-gay message in there. So it really shouldn't be a problem if Sean Gordon Murphy does a variant cover for that comic, but people are willing to hold him guilty just because of association with people who have those beliefs in the first place, which is ridiculous. Now, like I said, all of that stuff That's all stuff that you gotta figure out before you commit to doing business with them. What really bugs me about this announcement is not the fact that he decided to not do business with Doug TenNapel. It's the fact that he tries to make it seem like this is a personal decision. This is him trying to stick to his morals. But if that were true, you could have handled this quietly. You chose to announce this on Twitter because that's the real reason why you're doing it. That's the real reason why you're pulling your cover. It's because of Twitter. For me, it just seems disingenuous. Because if Twitter hadn't said anything, if Tess Fowler hadn't tried to threaten your job at DC, you would have never pulled your variant cover. And of course, the comment section just eat him alive. So if my Christian values don't match up with yours, then you wouldn't work with me? How very tolerant. Thank you for convincing me to not support DC any longer and to go to back issues. Sean, you will realize eventually that it's never enough. Never. Just do your work, pour your heart into all of it. Ignore the noise. And now I don't know anything about any Comicsgate drama. I don't really keep up with that stuff. Apparently Doug TenNapel had some drama with Comicsgate, and Ethan kind of brings it up in the comments saying, the creator in question angrily left our Comicsgate community because we found those views to not be in keeping with our customers' first ideals. You've got to follow your own conscience and also do what's best for business. Fans and customers of all varieties comes first. I thought Doug was your friend. Friends shouldn't bow out to the pressure from social justice mobs like this. You stand by each other and make the art you want to make. Doug TenNapel did respond to this. He responded in a few now deleted, I believe, tweets. He basically says, the LGBTQ put pressure on DC and SGM for doing a cover on Bigfoot Bill 2. Sean and I agreed that he should pull the cover. It's more important than ever that pro-family comic lovers to support my work and rethink DC for attacking my business over my beliefs. And the reason why I think he deleted these tweets is because he mentioned that Jim Lee was one of the reasons, but then he realized that wasn't exactly true, so he took that down. Got off the phone with Sean and clarified that he did not bring up my Bigfoot Bill 2 cover. They were talking about other pressures from SJWs. I'm getting to work today on a new cover. And he ends by basically saying, I've been falsely accused of stuff before, so I don't want to do that to him and leave it out there. When you get new information, you go public. But this is due to Tess Fowler and her Twitter mob. And considering that they all seem to happen very close to these tweets, I would be willing to bet probably has to do with Tess Fowler tweets. Now basically what we've heard from Doug in his response, and also what I can predict from Sean's tweets, is the idea that he was being pressured by higher ups at DC who decided Tess Fowler going after them was going to be very bad PR. So the best decision to make was to drop the cover to appease Twitter. Whether or not it'll actually appease Twitter doesn't seem like it's worked too much in the past, does it? Albeit, I'm glad that they both had an understanding and that Doug was okay with him pulling the cover. Naturally, I'd imagine it was a very hard decision because it doesn't look good for you personally if artists just go up and leave. I mean, this whole thing is a mess, but I guess Sean Gordon Murphy has, other things in mind right now. He needs to keep what he has at DC and his Murphyverse, and he's very worried about that being ruined for him. So this is what he believes is the right decision. Whether or not it actually is, who knows? But that's the news of the day, or of the weekend, depending on how long you've been following this. Let me know what you think about this decision to pull from Bigfoot Bill. Let me know what you think of this drama that's been happening. And you might be thinking, how am I gonna let you know what I think? Well, you see there's a comment section down below. You can tat 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 on the keyboard and type in letters. You know what else you can do? You can like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Program restart.